Hello everyone! We are going to look at the different parts of a sine function now, talking about the terminology, what words we use, and what those words mean when we're talking about a sine function. So we have a wave, okay, so that's a wave. A sine function is periodic. Trigonometric functions are periodic, which means that they keep on repeating themselves, okay? They look the same for each period, and that repetition looks the same after the same after the same. So we'll talk about the word amplitude. Amplitude means from the middle of the graph, so this middle point here, to the maximum, that is an amplitude, or from the middle of the graph to the minimum. Okay, so a few words here we're using. Maximum, important to know that. Maximum means the highest point on a graph. And if we look at this graph continuing, look, here's another maximum over here. And that pattern will keep on happening. Minimum. So we have a minimum down here. Minimum is the lowest point on the graph. And look, we have another minimum way over here. When this graph continues, there's another minimum. Okay? So this distance between the middle and the top is called the amplitude. Amplitude. So that's the amplitude. This is also the amplitude, which means that those two distances must be equal. Okay? This middle line, where the graph is divided in two, so the maximum subtract the minimum, right in the middle of the maximum and the minimum, in this case with y equals sine x, that middle line happens to be the x-axis. That will not always be the case, but right now it is. That's called the principal axis. So I'll just write that here. The principal axis. Principal axis. All right, so that's the middle of the graph. The period. The period is how long the horizontal length for the function to start repeating again. So if we think about, say our graph, we think about this as a starting point. It's going up, 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 down, 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 way down, and back up. And at this point, if I consider that I'm starting here at the origin, at this point here, it's just starting to repeat the same pattern. Okay, so this distance from 0 to 2 pi is called the period. Okay, so how long it takes before the pattern starts repeating again, the period. All right, so this period, it will be the same length as the pattern repeats. Okay, that's it. Amplitude, period, maximum, and minimum. Those are the parts of a sine function.